the program that, I'm going to pass this out, AmeriCorps, if you look at the skills that are required are none. The minimum requirement is a GED or high school diploma. And so you're replacing a certificated person with trained personnel from here to increase that program. Now, Mrs. Juarez tried to sell it to the parents that the program's already showing increases in reading. This program's new, and therefore, if you don't have any data from past years to support that, then you're not going to sell that this program is working, especially when you're dealing with individuals that you're going to be hiring that are only required to have a high school diploma in place of certificated teachers and trained personnel from here. So you're actually replacing classified with other individuals here that have already been working in the reading program. What's funny about this, y aquí es donde usted debe de comprender, señor Mario, de que si comprende lo que estoy diciendo, que van a distribuir a maestros con licenciatura por individuales que de habilidades no tienen que tener nada, y aparte lo único que necesitan es un diploma, haber terminado la high school o un diploma por el lado de la escuela de adultos, con maestros que tienen certificación, que se especializan en la área del lenguaje, no como los otros maestros que cuando agarran su licenciatura es para dar en todas las áreas, entonces no se especializan en cierta área. A las dos individuales que ustedes piensan deshacerse, se especializan en lo que es lenguaje, no nomás con individuales que se les va a pagar. Se les paga lo mínimo, bajo del salario mínimo también a esos individuales. Pero lo más extraño es que el año pasado se quejaban que según los pisanos no podían dar clases porque no tenían su licenciatura, aunque sí la tienen, y tienen por lo menos el bachillerato y entrenamiento en el colegio universitario por más de 2 años. Y resulta que este programa se llevan a los estudiantes a donde era la clínica y están con esos estudiantes también sin supervisión de alguien que tenga certificación. Así es de que, ¿cómo es que a los pisanos según no los dejaban cuando deben de estar trabajando con los maestros en este programa sí? Ahí es donde está la discriminación. Aparte de que ya se fijan que de habilidades no tienen que tener nada y nomás por maestros con certificación. ¿Cómo puede ser eso? So, for those of you, I'll translate. It was very disappointing to find out that when Mrs. Juarez was suggesting to the parents, which they were totally in disagreement, to increase the AmeriCorps program, which only requires the individuals to have minimum requirements of no skills at all, or a GED or high school diploma, and to replace teachers that specialize in that area, specifically in language arts, in a single subject setting. They're professionals and only specialize in that area. To replace them with this program. Previous to that meeting, you had a meeting to discontinue specific kind of services. You're not discontinuing services. You're replacing services that are not as good as the services that you already have. But more disappointing is that in the past you had complained about the pisanos not having certification and not being able to be teaching alone. When you have these individuals that have less qualifications to be alone with students, teaching those students reading skills in what used to be the old United Health Center. How can you not see that that's discrimination? And on top of that, you're going to replace classified and that organization places those individuals there without you even knowing anything about them, their past history, their records, or anything, because you go based on what they tell you. If you do a little bit of study on what has happened in the past with these individuals, I don't have to tell you what has happened in the past. And so you need to be careful on what you're doing, because you're getting rid of individuals that specialize in the area for services that are not at the quality that they're now. And another situation that came in, and Mr. Monreal, you know about this, that in this school district, there should only be one committee, DLAC, and not an ELAC, because it's a single.
Your time's up, Mr. Sandoval. Thank you.
Mrs. Medina, what time were you supposed to start the open session?
Time's up, Mr.
Time's
Sandoval.
up.
What time were you supposed to start?
Your time's up.
You were supposed to start at 6 o'clock. When you start respecting the rules for the public, then let us know that we're following. No, I'm gonna finish my thought.
Next one.
I'm gonna finish my thought, because you don't follow the rules either. So, Mr. Monreal,
We're asking
you working at the state level, you know that a single school district only requires one committee.
Only requires one, but there is an option for two.
There's not an option to appoint somebody.
Obviously, you're asked by expertise, and then you don't
Right.
agree with it. So what, don't ask your my expertise.
You can option to do that, but you can't appoint a representative from the ELAC
So
or
you're-
be a person.
So you're talking about something other than two committees. You're talking about a way of choice. So please be specific about what your complaint is.
I already told you
You did not.
that you're wrong, Monreal.
I'm not wrong at anything at what you're talking
Yes, you
about.
are, and you know it, knowing that you worked at the state level, you don't need two committees. If the two committees
In
are.
fact, I just said that.
individuals,
I said that you do not need two committees. There's an option for two committees.
You
And I
already,
believe that the option that's presented
The-
by the administration
the
is valid.
state has already ruled against the district.
Where's that ruling at?
Mr. Hirschhorn has it.
I don't believe that we've seen that ruling.
Well, he can share it with you. It's been
Because,
about-
and if you have the ruling, I guarantee you would have given it to us
it's
already.
been- Well, you should have had it.
Why didn't you give it to us
You should have had it.
if you have it?
We're gonna move on with Mr.
Monreal, you don't know what's going on.
Mr.
Especially when
Sandoval,
a
I know
complaint-
exactly what's going on.
when
This
a
has been
complaint
going on.
comes-
You are continuing what Mr. Ben Benavides began 10 years ago.
You're-
You're attempting to do the same politic that he did 10 years ago. Your MAPA's not even on Facebook. Where's your MAPA have its rules and regulations so we can look at that? You claim you're a representative. Who are you?
You bet we're gonna continue doing.
Who
what
are
Ben
you?
Benavides started.
Good. Ben Benavides does not scare us. Doesn't scare me. Let me speak for myself.
It's not about scaring. It's
Because
about-
Ben Benavides came to this district when you became superintendent.
No.
You hired him in a contract and paid him. You hired Luis, who is his godson, and paid him, who's working underneath his daughter. Doesn't sound like nepotism to you?
Benavides was here before I came here.
Oh, no, he was not.
Yes, he was. Look
He
back,
was trying to get
Look.
in. You brought him in.
look back at the history, and you'll find
So-
out that
so
Benavides
I'm
was
not-
here about 10 years
Not
before I
afraid
was
of
here.
what your threats are, Juan.
I'm
Not
a
afraid.
MAPA member.
And as a former superintendent, you were involved in all these allegations that you're talking
What
about.
allegation?
The ones that you're bringing before us.
Never was there a complaint at the state, and that the state came and found that you were.
That's because you guys never took any minutes, and the former president didn't do anything according to Hoyle, because you guys did everything secretly all the time.
No, we not only met here and announced to everybody to appear at the meetings, but even when COVID hit, we would do them online, so that
Sorry,
individuals
you
would know.
can try and convince me, convince the community.
I don't have to convince the community.
Then
I know
you're
what
wasting
you
your
did,
time trying to convince us.
And I
because
know
we know the
that there
truth.
hasn't been any complaints at the state and my tenure here in Raisin City, And now, one of them has already been, basically, on record that the district was out of compliance, and we have it on video where all of you lied when the president of DLAC was here, and they had told you that the superintendent had not met with DLAC, which is a specific step that they needed to do, so they submitted a uniform complaint procedure. The state found that, in fact, after all the paperwork that your attorneys did, that you, in fact, did not meet with the DLAC. And it's recorded. You're in the recording.
Mr. Sandoval,
Mrs. Juarez is in the recording.
Fine and
Mr.
dandy.
Hertzcourt is in the recording.
Again,
in which you
it's
lied
my
and you said
understanding,
that you had
for
met.
the record, and I'm glad that we have other recorders other than Mr. Gamino, that meetings were not occurring because that president chose not to meet when those dates were set up and was using this tactic called stalling in order to make sure nothing was being done on time and to fit the deadlines. I've seen this is traditional politics,
and why
Mr.
is
Sandoval.
it, if
And
that's
isn't
the
MAPA
case,
the Mexican-American Political
that's-
Association? So you're not fooling anybody, Mr. Sandoval.
if that's the case of what you're saying, why did the state found against what you were explaining?
Again, that's your word. I haven't seen anything to that effect.
Well, tell your superintendent to show you.
I'm grateful to do that.
And if not.
And if there's any issue, just
next
like when
time-
you were superintendent, that we need to resolve, we will resolve that.
Next
Because
time-
we ran in order to do things
Next
legally,
time, I'll
like
bring
we've
you-
done for the last 4 years.
You're not being properly informed then. Next time, I'll bring you the copy that was given to me.
Please do.
And by that time, the other two complaints, I'm sure will be resolved in favor of the parents.
Please do.
Because what you're doing is illegal and incorrect.
And if we are, we'll remedy that.
And pretty soon your nose is gonna hit over there because you keep on saying one lie after another.
I don't believe I'm lying.
Try to cover yourself,
Again, you have to tell me which lies that
You
I
know,
am committing.
You should be ashamed of yourself, being that you were a superintendent and you worked at the state level and don't even know the guidelines
Oh,
of
believe
running.
me, I know it a lot better than you.
But
And the
then-
other thing is, and I don't attempt to manipulate it to self-serve and to serve a
But then
purpose other
that's-
than for these students.
But then that's why they fired you, and then they fired you from Delano, because you don't.
I wouldn't be talking about being fired,
You don't know how to
sir.
follow
You were tased at a meeting that I was at
Right.
for being.
No, you weren't.
Okay, let's